They don't fucking believe it. If you don't believe it, you won't do it. If you don't think you can fuck all night, guys, believe me, you ain't gonna fuck all night. If you think you can fuck all night, by God, you're gonna die trying. And and you're gonna on the webinars, you're gonna hear it again and again. They ask the same motherfucking questions every time. I could put a script for the questions and we could just skip all that shit and just give you the questions because they're 80, 90, 95% the same questions. Every motherfucker that asks the questions is the same questions over and over. You're going to hear it on the webinars every day. You're going to hear a webinar. The same fucking questions. They don't believe it. And even when the motherfucker says it, it's like he's a marionette. Like I'm pulling, making his lips move. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. You have never met anybody like me, and you probably never will, because you're a cunt. Where's the vagina cream? I give you this vagina cream so you can rub it on your snatch, because you're all cunts. And everybody you know is a cunt. Don't you understand that? Do you know anybody with any balls whatsoever? Do you know any real men? No. The answer is no. And then when you hear some guy, and you don't want to believe him. You don't fucking want to believe him. Because that means, more pressure's on you. That's what it really means. More pressure. You're looking for every fucking way to give you some cushion so you can fail. And that's how you've led your life. And all the little snatches that you run around with. It's like the example I was giving you. When your mother can beat up your dad, there's something ain't right with that. Forget political correctness. But when your mom can kick the shit out of your father, I mean, God almighty, am I the only cocksucker on the planet that thinks that's wrong? Forget the fact that they're fighting. But am I the only one? Jesus Christ. Well, that's where we are. You ask the same questions over and over because you don't want... this can't be possible. I'm 44 years old. I make $460,000 a year. And I am a cunt. And I hang around with cunts. And my kids are cunts. I might as well kill myself. It's dead fucking simple. How many times did he say it was simple? It's dead fucking simple. And he went through the first 4 steps, which you are going to slide over. He went to reaffirm his personal position, his this, that, and he did it the way you're supposed to. And that took some time. Building his personal foundation, and just like on the website, meatheads. But the thing I told you, I wanted to make sure he explained, he then shifted from, he realized in the particular niche of the health industry that he's in, it didn't make sense to buy the individual units that had less than 4 employees. Because management of numbers, scale. So they had to have 5 employees or more. That's where it made sense for him, because the EBITDA numbers worked out better and he could better finance it. But then he went and he owner financed. Owner financing's been around for 100 years. The house flippers, no money down house guys, all the guys that do the seminars on TV. That's exactly what we're doing. Except we're not buying a house for $65,000 or $165,000. This is a no money down fucking business buying. I keep telling everybody that, but everybody just discounts it. Guys have been doing this for 100 fucking years. It's a no money down house to no money down business. That's just the entities changed from a house, from some toothless fucking guy that digs ditches, to a business for a toothless guy that owns a company. So whatever industry you pick, and whatever industry the monkeys pick on YouTube, you got to know if the numbers work, and the only way you know if the numbers work, and it's part of the process. We're not there yet. It comes in day 3 and 4. You go and you find out what the banks, what was the last financing you did for this industry, and what kind of numbers were they? Okay, you talk to a few potential sellers and find out, so you know exactly kind of where the Are you in a $200,000 house neighborhood, or are you in a $600,000 house neighborhood? That's what you're doing. He's kicking the tires a little, and you're doing this while you're building your dream team. So in that regard, you got to be multifaceted. You got to be able to call 2 banks. You laugh. You guys laugh, but I can't wait. I can't wait to read your fucking things. And I hope that you're fucking. I started to read the homework. I got sick. I threw up. Some of you can't even write English. You got a problem. And I'm not talking about the guys where English is not your main language. Some of you are illiterate. Everybody understand illiterate? Retarded. Now, if you're retarded, it takes a little longer. It's not impossible. If you're retarded. They don't call it, now you're, what is it? Mentally disadvantaged, what the fuck? Special needs. Some of you are special needs. Some of you are real special needs. And now you're hair disadvantaged. You're not a bald, ugly fuck. You're hair disadvantaged. Or you're not a fat lard ass. Now you're weight disadvantaged. And you're not a midget. You're height disadvantaged. Fuck you. All the dwarfs that are watching, up your ass. You're a fucking dwarf, midget, fat ass, retard. That's what you are. Sue me. Line up. I say what people don't even dare to think. So getting back to him, he figured out, we just had a webinar from one of the more successful guys, and in his industry, they say there's no owner financing. Nobody will do that. So far, he's only done owner financing. They say it's impossible. He refinanced it. They tell you got to run the business, 3, 6, 9 months, a year, 2 years before they'll loan you again, because they want to see if you know what you're doing right. That's the normal? He refinanced it 120% within 45 days. All these things you've been told are myths. They're lies. But in the words of Bruce the Whipple, if you don't ask, you don't get. But you got to ask. Now, I tell. He went from asking to telling. Because he's a well-educated, refined guy. And I'm certainly not that. I've been accused of a lot of things in my life, but being refined is not one of them. And I hold that as a badge of honor. So, how's your program worked out so far, guys? Not worth a shit, right? So, for even the skeptics, and YouTube is full of them, these fucking guys, they're going to want to know how many chocolates you ate. I'm telling you, and they're going to say, don't sit him there because the light shines off his fucking head. You two guys there. I swear to God, that's what they tell me. Get the bald guys away from the cameras because the light, distorts the fucking angle of the... Now, the other skinheads, we could put the new skinheads in here, up here, because they'll really bitch at me for putting you two bald chrome domes over here. Now, when somebody's bald, how do you describe him now? It says saying bald fuck. What do you say now? What's the proper way? What's the proper way? It's like, my mother used to tell me, she's either ugly or she's not. You're either bald or you're not. There's no proper way. But all the things he went through, but he speeded it up because he says in the Netherlands they are slow. But you're going to find this whether you're in Estonia or Argentina, they're all slow, or then you want them to move. That's just slower than you want them to move. And the student almost lawyer in the back, and the Germans, there's a right way, a wrong way, and a German way. I mean, for those that, I mean, God knows, I know that drill. I could write that book. But you know, when you go to Iceland, there's a right way, a wrong way, and an Icelandic way. I mean, but there's certain cultures that are even more precise. That's good. You should be able to get through them quicker. What are the takeaways from Frank? Forget that he's 7 feet tall. Some of you have already, well, he's 7 feet tall because that's how he can do this.
Yes. Follow the steps in order.
Everybody you're going to hear, it's the same thing. Follow the steps in order. But you will be lured to do it otherwise. Especially for those of you that, you know, you got a father or a brother or a cousin or an uncle or whatever that's a transaction lawyer with J.P. Morgan. I mean, you will. It just, and I'll look at it when the board, and you're supposed to disclose, this is my cousin. There's a section on the bottom of the weekly reports, which Adam, which is one of my Polish mentees, who I call Lurch, because he looks like a monster, a big, you know. And he said, you know, there's a lot of stuff we're not telling you. I said, I had that at the bottom of the report. What am I not telling Mr. Peña? It opened up Pandora's fucking box. Unbelievable shit. Why I didn't think of that in 24 and a half years, I have no idea, but I never thought of it. Now, as copious as the questions are that you got to do hour by hour, there's still shit that you do. You sneak. There's still shit that you do. And remember, the reports are for you guys, not me. They're for you. And when you see how motherfucking disorganized you are, and when you see how ineffective you are, and when you see that you get not a fucking, well, almost nothing done, I mean, you will be sick to your stomach. You should be. Some of you are so fucking blatantly retarded that you won't be sick to your stomach. The fact that when you hear on the Zoom report, this guy did this in 6 weeks, this guy did this, and you're sitting there with your thumb up your ass, and you're going like this. And when you hear it on the Zoom report, and then some of you will think, oh, Dan's helping him extra, or helping her extra. Or you have to come up with reasons why some retarded kid in part of your group has gotten all this shit done, and you're still trying to figure out what industry to go into. But the magic of our brain, as Freud said, we rationalize. We can rationalize almost anything. You'll figure out a reason why that guy or that gal. And it's even harder for you to rationalize. There's no women in this group, so that's the good news. But the bad news is there's no women because some of the women just take care of business. They don't fuck around for the most part. They really know what multitasking is. If guys had babies, instead of 7.5 billion people, we'd have about 2 million people on the earth. If guys had babies. Forget about it. We wouldn't have to be worried about global fucking warming or any of that shit. We wouldn't have to worry about water and food because, there'd be nobody left on the planet. There'd be nobody on the planet. The joke is man flu. Man flu means you got a slight temperature so you don't go to work when you got man flu. Or you thought you had a temperature and so you don't go to work. That's man flu. Man flu. What else? What about other than him following the steps? What else?
When he mentioned 120% financing, is that what you would call an extreme old way of selling it?
No. He went back and he got a line of credit, an overdraft, as they say in this country, a line of credit in America, equal to 120% of the total purchase prices of the businesses that he bought. And we're going to talk about line of credit. Some of the guys don't have a line of credit or an overdraft. I don't know how they run the business. Ineffectively is how they run. Yes, sir. You're going to make it hard, though. I know you will. You never have to go past LinkedIn. How did the guys in the 90s and the early how long has LinkedIn been around? 10 years, 12 years? Okay, what did they do before that? Shoe leather. Bruce the Whipple would say, shoe leather. We had people on buses going from town to town because you can't fly back and forth across the country. Or you can, but you have no money. You're all broke. You're all bust. LinkedIn is it. But some of you will figure out why LinkedIn doesn't work for you. It's worked for every other son of a bitch the last 15 years, but for you, you'll figure out a way. You will figure out a way. And we give you a link that one of you put together the best way to use LinkedIn. Now, it's about 75% accurate, but it saves you from some extra time, maybe 10, 20 hours. And then you complain about the guy who did it just to help. You complain, well, it's not perfect what he gave us. It's not perfect. I'm not going to use it. You don't really want, you think I'm making this shit up. Truth is stranger than fiction. Anything else about Frank?
Yeah, he chose a sector to roll up into. He focused on one sector.
That's all you're going to do. One sector. He wasn't absolutely positive when he came to the seminar. He heard all the shit like you're hearing it. He went back, little 2-3 days of more research, talked to a couple of potential sellers, see what the margins were, talked to a couple of banks to see what the banks would lend against those margins. Then he said, this is it. Then he went after the anchor chairman, the board. And like he said, he could get 10 anchor chairmen in a day. I could get 50. 100. If Frank can do 10, I'm 10 times better than he is. I could at least get 100. What else about Frank?
Stay laser focused.
That's all he did. Now, he's educated. So some of you that have no education, okay. We're going to have some retards do this in the next week. Dropped out of school when they were 4. Lived under a bridge. We got them all. Didn't speak English until, they lived like Tarzan. Didn't speak English until they were 19. Live with wolves, packed of wolves. We got them, literally, we got them all. You think I'm joking? No, I'm not joking. But you'll come up with a reason. Well, no, that guy lived with wolves. Fuck. I mean, that guy already, I guess when you become an alpha male when you live with a wolf. Believe me, you will come up with some fucking cockamamie fucking shit. Okay, YouTube.